called the law of diffusion of innovations. This is something that was really made famous on a TED Talk by Simon Sinek. Has anybody ever seen that before? It's a very famous TED Talk. The guy's name is Simon Sinek. And what it is in every industry has a bell curve like this. That's a successful industry. It starts out with the first people into the industry, or the innovators. Then you move into the early adopter phase, the early majority, the late majority, and then ultimately the laggards. So when I was in the cell phone business, when I first got in, used to have a lot of senior citizens come up and say, "I'll never own one of these, no matter what." 4 years later, they couldn't get their hands off their iPhone. So it's just and then there's some people that still have a rotary phone in their house, and no matter what, they'll never switch to anything different. So those are the laggards. So that's how we pretty much determine, how an industry goes. And right now, because we've already chewed up about 5% of the market, as far as the black market that's available. One way to look at this industry is that we're past the innovator stage into the early part of the early adopter phase. So the reason I just illustrated that, this is just something that I put together to kind of light a fire under everybody's butt, to realize that you're not here in the beginning. This train's already left the station. There's people here that are already made millions of dollars doing this. You're not new. You're just here in New York where we're new. So what we need to do is we want to figure out ways how we can make money today, not wait for Governor Cuomo to decide that we're going to have 250 dispensaries in New York State and everybody can own one. I want everybody to take advantage of the next part of this session, which is looking at how this industry is going to grow every single year and making sure that as of today you know about it and you can start capitalizing off of it. The page before there, this is from MMJ Business Daily. This is this shows the industry growth year in and year out projected from 2013 to 2018. So every single year you'll see you're getting pretty close to a 40%, 35 to 40% increase every single year, and with the industry set to double within 2 years and then triple within I believe it's 4 years. Yeah, triple within 4 years. So this skyrocket here, all these new markets that are opening up, this is opportunities to really sell them, various different products, So one of the reasons why I thought that it would be great for, women specifically to be involved in this is a lot of these positions here, I think just about every single one of them is relevant to the cannabis industry. Like going back to the first page, every single one of these positions, I've looked at them, and every single one of them, I can see how women can come in here and capitalize, in every single aspect. Whether it's right off the bat, elementary and middle school teachers. Do you think that we need education in the cannabis industry? Do you think that people need to learn about cannabis? Yeah, they do. Do you think that people coming in there are going to have advanced education in cannabis, or are you going to have to teach them like a little kid? No, I'm telling you, I have to teach everybody like I'd have to teach a third grader just about anything about cannabis. So being able to break down this really, really big world to somebody in a very simplistic manner, I think that there's a skill. And I think that there's a lot of teachers that would probably like to supplement their income by doing a small business. They have summers off. They work generally 40, 50 hours a week. So one of the things I think is a great part-time job is being able to work as a consultant in this industry. If you really understand, what this industry is all about, you can do this part-time. You can be processing applications nationwide. There's no certification for that. There's no registration for that. If you're astute enough, a lot of these positions for women, like secretaries, administrative assistants, I know a million women that are paralegals. You guys could be going through these contracts. Most of you, no offense, but they know more about the law than a lot of the attorneys they work for, some of the women that I deal with. I'm sure you guys don't. But it's true. Accountants and auditors, every single one of these seed-to-sale ventures, every one of these seed-to-sale ventures are going to be intensely scrutinized. There is none of these cannabis businesses are allowed to write off anything on their taxes under Statute 280E of the IRS tax code. So you need to have accountants on every single staff. These are opportunities. There's really nothing from stopping a woman to open up an accounting firm and not be an accountant and just staff accountants. So my point is, we're here as a CHA to really help people. We specifically take an interest in people that aren't already wealthy, because I'm not already wealthy. So I would rather take somebody's money and filter it into people that have great ideas and passion for this industry, and that's something that we're going to be bringing forth. Going forward, we're going to be working with venture capital groups. We're going to be channeling people from Wall Street into this CHA function, and we're going to be looking to help, capitalize a lot of these different people that really have an intimate knowledge of this industry or have the passion and desire to learn. So, does anybody have any questions? Could you tell them about the Cole Memorandum, Hanan?
Sure. So, even though a bunch of states have now passed laws legalizing some aspect of marijuana, there's Colorado and Washington and now Oregon and Alaska, and then the medical marijuana states. The federal law, which applies everywhere, is called the Controlled Substances Act, and under that law, everything that anybody in any marijuana business does is a violation of federal law. You can't grow it, you can't process it, you can't transport it, you can't sell it, you can't possess it. So then the question is, well, how do people operate legitimate businesses in states where it is lawful if you've got this federal law? And nobody knows the answer for sure, but the federal government's been trying to work their way towards figuring something out. So in August of 2013, the U.S. Department of Justice issued what people call the Cole Memorandum. The Department of Justice is the boss of the U.S. attorneys. There's U.S. attorneys in every judicial district in America, and they are prosecutors. And so what the Cole Memoranda is directions to federal prosecutors about what they should do with regard to people who are operating lawfully under state marijuana programs. And essentially what it says is that generally federal prosecutors should not prosecute people operating under state programs if the people are making sure that if the people are adhering to federal enforcement priorities, and those are no marijuana diverted outside of the program, no marijuana going to children, no marijuana being grown on federal land, no marijuana being used for, no drug driving, no money being diverted to criminal gangs, no use of legal marijuana as a cover for distribution of other unlawful activities. So what the Cole Memoranda has done is it's given people some level of confidence that if they operate in a manner consistent with state law, and if they be sure to adhere to those federal guidelines, which primarily means you don't want it diverted. If you're operating a medical marijuana business, so if you're in New York State, you are going to need to make sure that every gram that you grow and process is trackable and is not diverted outside of the system. Now, it's not perfect, because federal prosecutors in theory could still prosecute, and if there was a new attorney general and a new president who was hostile to marijuana, they could revoke the Cole Memorandum. So it doesn't have the force of law. It could be modified, and it's not binding on any U.S. attorneys, but people in states where there are either medical marijuana or recreational have been operating businesses and relying on the Cole Memorandum. So it's not perfect, but it's progress.